Hey kids, you want to talk about drugs? Hi. Hello, and welcome, denizens, to Morbid Monday, where we discuss the dark, the macabre, and the strange. So, it is spring here in Central Europe, and so flowers are blooming, the bees are buzzing, and inevitably, this means that a common weed begins to crop up in yards around the entirety of the Flemish countryside. That weed would be Datura. And so I thought it would be a good idea to discuss today what exactly Datura is and why it is widely considered one of the worst drug trips that anybody can take. So, case number 10 is Datura. Let's get started. Now, first off, if my PowerPoint would work. There we go. Some acknowledgments. Datura is native to the US and naturalized in Europe. One species, D. Mattel, is disputed as being native to Asia and Africa. It is a fairly common weed, and most accidental ingestion is due to misidentification or due to negligence in watching children around it. Now, caveat. I myself am not a drug user. I've never done drugs. I don't plan on doing drugs. But I am a longtime amateur scholar of esoterica and occultism, as well as history and science. Therefore, everything that I present here is what I have gleaned from literature on the plant and firsthand reports from users of the drug, as well as observations of specimens that I've seen in my yard and various foraging spots around my neighborhood. I will not be sharing dosing instructions, any facts about what parts to consume in particular. I will not be telling you how to prepare this for ingestion. None of that. That is not the focus of this stream. Focus is do not do Datura. Don't fucking do it, chat. It is not fun. Now, what is Datura? I have some really lovely images here that you can see of the trumpet-shaped flower and the spiky seed pods. Datura, which is also known as moonflower, Jimson weed in the United States, devil's trumpet, and thorn apple, is a genus of 9 to 14 species of highly poisonous vespertine flowering plants that belong to the nightshade family, Solanaceae. All species of Datura are extremely poisonous and psychoactive, especially the seeds and flowers, which can cause respiratory depression, arrhythmia, fever, delirium, hallucinations, anticholinergic toxidrome, psychosis, and death if taken internally. Datura, ironically, is commonly found in disturbed areas, roadsides, verges, abandoned lots, and sandy areas. Datura plants display a characteristic foul odor when touched or crushed, and the stems are sometimes covered with fine or stiff hairs, while the pods are spiked, hence the common name thorn apple. Sometimes it's not even hairs, sometimes it's just a characteristic texture to the stem, but the hairs are what I most commonly come across in specimens that I've seen. Hello, Harry. Hello. Nobody asks, how is Datura Belgian? Shut up. Hi, Harry. Anyway, as well, all parts of the Datura plant are quite bitter and unpleasant, which naturally deters most animals from going near it or consuming it. Although, some species of larvae exclusively feed upon it, namely certain Lepidoptera species. So moths, butterflies, that general family. Children, usually from curiosity about the beautiful trumpet-shaped flowers or the unusual spiky pods, will stick it in their mouths and accidentally ingest some of it. Some adults will mistake the leaves for other edible wild plants. This is highly dangerous, and poison control should be contacted immediately. Now then, some folklore about Datura. In Europe, Datura belongs to the classic witches' weeds, along with deadly nightshade, henbane, and mandrake. All parts of the plants are toxic, and the genus has a long history of use for causing delirious states and death. It was well known as an essential ingredient of magical flying ointments, potions, and witches' brews, most notably Datura stramonium. Although Datura is not native to Europe, it is heavily naturalized, and it's thought that it became an ornamental plant brought over by Spanish conquistadors from the New World, and it escaped containment. So we can blame the Spanish for why it's in Europe. But often it is thought, and it is written in the medieval literature, or not medieval, Renaissance literature, that it is a component in the classic witch's flying ointment, which causes that delirious flying sensation. In South Asia, there is a There is a native strain of Datura. In India, D. metal has long been regarded as a poison and aphrodisiac, having been used in Ayurveda as a medicine since ancient times. It features in rituals and prayers to Shiva, and also in a festival devoted to the deity Ganesha. In Afghanistan, it was used by the Malang as a shamanic initiation rite and to contact the other world. In the Americas, where most species are found, especially in Mexico, anthropologists have found that indigenous groups with a great deal of experience with and detailed knowledge of Datura have been known to use it spiritually, including the Navajo and especially the Havasupai. The ancient inhabitants of what became Central and Southern California used to ingest Datura to commune with deities through visions. The Southern Paiute believe Datura can help locate missing objects. In ancient Mexico, Datura played an important role in the religion of the Aztecs and the practices of their medicine men and necromancers. It was reportedly used by the Aztecs for ritual sacrifice and malevolent purposes as well. In fact, it is still used in native medicine for spirit walks and shamanic rites of passage. Oh, Kali Ma? No, that's a different god. Kali is a god of war and chaos. Totally different god. Ganesha's the elephant dude. He's the elephant-headed one. But in Mexico, in certain shamanic rites, it's still in use. It's still in use by some native southwestern tribes, and in Mexico, it is also used in certain witchy circles within the general populace as a potent tool for maleficia. We also see it used in Haitian voodoo as an ingredient in the zombie powder that is used to zombify people. So that's fun. Now, Datura toxicity is one that I want you guys to really pay attention to. All Datura plants contain tropane alkaloids such as scopolamine and atropine, primarily in their seeds and flowers, as well as the roots of certain species such as D. reiteri. Because of the presence of these substances, Datura has been used for centuries in some cultures as a poison. A given plant's toxicity depends on its age, where it is growing, and the local weather conditions. Two plants can be growing side by side in the same area and have wildly different toxicities, which of course makes dosage difficult. There is no recommended dosage, even on longtime sites about and for using drugs. There is no safe dosage because of this vast spread of toxicity. What may be toxic in one plant may be hardly anything in another. These variations make Datura exceptionally hazardous as a drug. Since Datura directly causes the effects of anticholinergic syndrome, the symptoms of its toxicity are often cited by the traditional mnemonic: blind as a bat, mad as a hatter, red as a beet, hot as a hair, dry as a bone. The bowel and bladder lose their tone, and the heart runs alone. Datura, the worst trip of my life. Deliriant, not psychedelic. Datura is considered a deliriant, which is a form of hallucinogen. Due to the potent combination of anticholinergic substances it contains, Datura intoxication typically produces the effects of delirium, usually involving a complete or relative inability to differentiate reality from fantasy, bizarre thoughts, hyperthermia, that's overheating, tachycardia, that is irregular heartbeat, bizarre and possibly violent behavior, dry skin, dry mouth, illusions, and severe mydriasis, dilated pupils, with resultant painful photophobia that can last several days. Photophobia meaning a fear of or an aversion to light. Muscle stiffness, urinary retention, temporary paralysis, disrobing, emotional bluntness, dysphoria, and confusion are often reported in users, and pronounced amnesia is another commonly reported effect. The psychoactive alkaloids are also both known for their characteristic hyperactive effects and ability to cause stark and sometimes dreamlike hallucinations. The onset of symptoms generally occur around 30 to 60 minutes after ingesting. These symptoms generally last from 24 to 48 hours, but there have been reported in some cases. Some last 2 weeks or longer. Certainly, from what I've seen from users in forums and from people I know in real life who are psychonauts, that is, people who regularly use and chase psychoactives, Datura, even when the high wears off, often leaves lasting psychological scars, and sometimes even physical scars due to what you do during the delirium. Hello, Magnus. Hello. Datura is incredibly scary because of this. The high may be over, but the psychological scars remain. The stuff of nightmares. In pharmacology and the abuse of cocaine, amphetamines, ecstasy, and related designer drugs, Frey asserts, few substances have received as many severely negative recreational experiences as has Datura. The overwhelming majority of those who describe their use of Datura find their experiences extremely unpleasant. both mentally and often physically. Dreamlike trips, good for some level of good trips, are noted on occasion in reports when taken with pot, but this is exceedingly rare. The vast majority of cases that I have read and trip reports that I have read and even asked about in real life has commonly been, this was the worst experience of my life, never fucking do it. Bernardino de Sanguin, in around 1569, called attention to Datura in these words: "It is administered in potions in order to cause harm to those who are objects of hatred. Those who eat it have visions of fearful things. Magicians or those who wish to harm someone administer it in food or drink. The herb is medicinal, and its seed is used as a remedy for gout, ground up and applied to the part affected." Christian Rach has said, "A mild dosage produces medicinal and healing effects. A moderate dosage produces aphrodisiac effects, and high dosage is used for shamanic purposes." Wade Davis, an ethnobotanist, also lists it as an essential ingredient of a zombie potion in Haitian voodoo. Hello, Squishy Banana. Hello, hello. Welcome. Now, note that Datura is not a gateway drug. Many people do not go from total sobriety to taking Datura. That is not usually the path taken by Datura users. The path usually is people who are habitual users of various drugs, and specifically people who have extensive experience with hallucinogens, LSD, PCP, DXM, Benadryl, all those drugs are usually what people take before they try Datura. And most people who try Datura are doing so because they are seeking a more intense high, or perhaps they're just curious about how bad it can be. If these are the type of people who are taking it and then going on to say that it is the stuff of nightmares and the worst trip of my life and do not fucking do it, that should tell you something. That should be very telling about how truly horrifying Datura is as a drug. I'm going to read for you some testimonials from Arrowhead, which is one of the premier forums for posting your drug trips and comparing and contrasting everything having to do with drugs. First that I've encountered, and possibly one of the most famous, is Dark and Hopeless Hell by Tech22. Quote, "I was dead. This was hell. There were no demons, no hellfire or brimstone, just a deep, complete feeling, darkness and hopelessness. This was the never-ending void. Not at all how I had imagined it, but worse than I thought that it could have been. I've had feelings of infinite emotion on acid trips and sensations of universal truth and K-holes, but this was the most profound reality I have ever experienced. My whole existence was put into perspective, and I was being punished for wasting the gift of life. I blacked out at some point in the box and woke up in my friend's apartment the next day. He said I was out for about 8 hours. The physical effects wore off about a day later, but the psychological impression has yet to fade. Datura is boundless. Datura is powerful beyond words. Datura is poison. Note that Tech 22 was a homeless young person living on the street who had a steady supply of drugs provided by various friends. He had received Datura from a drug dealer friend of his who said it was cheap and he could have it, and they didn't want it. He took one of the larger pods and selected it because the seeds were notably darker, which was supposed to make it more potent. His friend told him to only eat about half the seeds, but he ate the entire pod. The second story that I have to share with you, second trip report, I should say, is titled "That Terrified Naked Man in the Corner Is Me" by Craig. Quote, "The truck stopped. I was found out. Driver got out and saw me. He had no facial features, no mouth, no nose, no eyes. I jumped from the bed and began to run, naked and scared. This is my last memory. There is no further evidence as to what happened after this point, but I woke hours later, finally, somewhat sober. I opened my eyes and there were 3 people staring at me. I was naked, bleeding, and covered in my own feces. I huddled in the corner of whatever room I was in. It was a family. They'd found me and tried to keep me safe. I was in southern New Hampshire after starting in Maine. I was almost 3 hours from my home with no recollection of how I got there. Family offered me clothing and enough money to take the bus back home. I returned home to find my house in ruins. The sliding glass door I had imagined was my bedroom window. Chris was lying on the ground in my yard after falling from the 2nd floor. He had no clothing on. He was alive, but broke his right leg. I found Jen in my bathtub, still naked and sleeping. My life was hysteria for 48 hours. I'm not sure how all 3 of us survived that trip. Craig was a psychonaut who often took drugs with his friend Chris and Jen. All 3 of them took Datura together that night. Chris and Craig had taken 600 seeds, a massive dosage, while Jen had only taken 160, I believe. The last I will share with you today is Truly the Devil's Weed by user Chimpanzee. Quote, "To sum it up in one word, insanity. That's what it feels like if you start to snap out of it and realize what's happening. But then you just go back into the state of total confusion, and it's enough to drive anyone crazy. Overall, I am glad I experienced this, just to know what it's like, but this is not for everyone. And I'm not saying the experience was at all pleasant, so I have no motivation to do it any time soon. Maybe someday, years from now, just for some crazy fun, but This Datura seems to be something not of this world. Hallucinations were accompanied by delirium and confusion, which made them seem real and like I wasn't really tripping. This stuff truly is the devil's weed. I don't have any details on exactly how much chimpanzee took or what his history is with drugs. Clearly, he was a habitual user of some kind of drugs if he was posting on Arrowid and regularly coming up with trip reports. But I do not have any hard facts to share about himself. But I felt that these 3 trip reports in particular were especially eloquent and truly captured the consensus of many who tried Datura for the first time, or even people who are habitual drug users and take Datura for the first time. A truly terrifying and sobering thought is the fact that in South America, Datura powder is being used to drug and either rob or assault tourists. It is being called dragon's breath. And there have been increasing reports about it over the past few years. So, treatment for Datura poisoning. What should you do if you should be dosed or ingest it yourself? Due to their agitated behavior and confused mental state, people with acute Datura poisoning or intoxication are typically hospitalized. Gastric lavage and the administration of activated charcoal can be used to reduce the stomach's absorption of the ingested material. And the drug physostigmatine is used to reverse the effect of the poisons. I probably said that wrong. Don't get mad at me, chat. Benzodiazepines can be given to calm the patient's agitation, and supportive care with oxygen, hydration, and symptomatic treatment is often provided. Observation of the patient is indicated until the symptoms resolve, usually from 24 to 36 hours after ingestion of the Datura. Many users report psychological disturbances after the fact due to trauma, with psychosis, PTSD, and heightened risk of dementia in former users. In short, Datura is a highly poisonous but beautiful plant in the nightshade family, widely regarded as dangerous and unenjoyable drug, highly dangerous poison, and a key part of several religions around the world. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Give me a second. Excuse me. Ugh. Many longtime drug users and health professionals regard it as a truly horrifying trip that can lead to dementia and permanent psychosis, incredibly easy to overdose on, and widely regarded as not worth the high. While beautiful, please be cautious and do not allow animals or children to accidentally ingest any part of the plant. Don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs. Okay, so anybody have any questions? Anybody have anything that they want to add or anything that they want me to clarify? Maybe you guys want to hear some more firsthand accounts from drug users about what Datura poisoning feels like. I mean, yeah, that happened to Craig. He was covered in feces when he woke up, Belgian. Belgian has some questions, chat. You should probably come over if you want me to talk with you and to be heard.
Okay, so it also gets used as a aphrodisiac and all of that shit, right? In all these tribes and shit, right?
Yes and no. It's usually used as a poison or for spirit walks and these shamanic trips into the spirit
but there was
world.
a guy they were talking about like dosage, like what the effects tend to be.
Yes.
So yeah, so there is some research on what the drug does in
Yes.
terms of amount, right? So couldn't you technically, if they give you like the powder, like that dragon's breath, couldn't you just actually like do accurate dosage then?
No. That's the problem.
Well, no, the issue
It's
with
because it's a natural product. So unless you have like thousands of plants that you process into this powder and then mix together, it's very difficult to dose. That is the core problem of people who try Datura, and that's why a lot of people die when they take it.
I feel like there's a business opportunity there. If you
Belgian,
have a, if
no,
you have a lab,
no,
if you
no,
have a
go
lab,
away, go away.
And no.
No, we do not say that because we do not want to get banned.
Okay, if you
Twitch,
make
I
that,
do not condone drug use. Twitch, I do not condone drug use. My husband's an idiot. Don't listen to him.
I'm Walter White, so I need to get bald.
Shave your head. Do it. Do it, Belgian. Do it. Shave your head. Jesse, the high school dropout who's like high off his gourd all the time and ends up, I think his girlfriend gets murdered.
You know more about that show than I do.
I have a lot of friends that are very into Breaking Bad, even though I've never watched it. Now, synthetic scopolamine is actually used in medical contexts. The problem is it's incredibly expensive to extract or synthesize the active compounds. And again, they're so potent that a lot of them, even the teeny tiniest little bit, will kill you, which makes it incredibly difficult to market as a drug because most kitchen scales are really bad at dosing things. No. That's the thing. Belgian brings up a good point. Like, these people shouldn't be taking large doses. What the hell are they thinking? And that's the thing. A lot of these people are such habitual users of hallucinogens that they feel like, you know, oh, it's not going to do anything to me. This isn't going to happen to me. A lot of them have the experience that hallucinogens at the normal quote-unquote dosage usually don't work for them, and they have to take a higher dosage than what is considered normal. And so they apply this same logic to Datura, not realizing that Datura's variable potency means that they could be overdosing. And again, that's why a lot of people die. It's very scary, really, because it's a natural product that nobody has synthesized or commodified, really. And the thing is, you want to know something incredibly scary, chat? Datura is not illegal. It is not illegal. It grows as a weed. And so, you know, if you want to grow it in your garden, they can't do anything about it because, like, they don't know if you're eating it or just growing it because it looks pretty. They won't do anything about it. It's very scary. And a lot of children, they'll be like playing while their parents are talking or like distracted or something, and they'll just eat it because their parents aren't there to stop them. They can hear like very slight pops, by the way. It is picking up. Mm-hmm. But that's the thing. Usually, especially with these kind of native plants that have been in use traditionally for a very long time, like peyote or mescal and stuff like that, a lot of these native plants, if taken the way that has generationally been passed down knowledge, so like if taken the way it's been done for forever, usually you don't die, or you will have taken it in such a way that it produces the desired effect. And then that kind of colors how it then enters the mainstream. Is that that one person then says, I took it and I was totally fine. And so they give it to another person based off of this exacting recipe that has been passed down generationally within this tribe. And then they have a just fine time. And then it spreads that way until eventually people don't know how to prepare it correctly, and they take it, and that's where the problems happen. Again, not condoning taking Datura. Don't get it twisted, chat. We do not condone taking Datura. Datura is fucking terrifying. And I would never take it just because I already have a tenuous grasp on reality. I really don't need to make that worse. Don't take drugs, kids. Don't take drugs. That is my thoughts on the matter. Just don't do it. Don't take drugs. But yeah, anybody else have any questions? Anybody else have anything they want to add, or any like musings? Personally, I find Datura to be incredibly terrifying. I personally suffer from OCD. If you follow me on Twitter, you've heard me mention it once or twice. So my particular form of OCD is very triggered by loss of control. And so the idea of a drug that can make me completely lose control of my own sense of reality is fucking horrifying. And add on to that I really don't have a very good grip on reality as is due to anxiety disorders. Yeah, I really don't need something that one of the side effects could be psychosis. That does not sound fun to me. And actually, Chica in the Discord server even said, how bad can some funny seeds be? Yeah, that doesn't sound fun. And I agree. It sounds supremely not fun. Nothing about Datura sounds fun. Oh no, you're given the pod, and you're told count out a dose, or you're told eat half the pod. Yes, I do, actually. Belgian wants me to show the inside of a pod, and it is right here. You can also see right here, this is what it looks like on the outside. This is an unripe one, by the way. But a ripe one, if I open up DuckDuckGo for a second. Ripe Datura. I can spell. Pod. If we search it up, you can see that this is what it looks like. Yeah, I'm gonna search Google, actually. Google might be a better layout for this. Give me a second. Google. Google. Okay, yeah. This right here is what the pod looks like. This is what the seeds look like. Here's another pod. Yes. There's another one. It's variable how many seeds are inside of each pod. It's very variable. And see? You can see that's the size of the pod. Are these Datura seed pods that my uncle is just casually handling? Yes, plant identification on Reddit. Yes, indeed. That is definitely Datura. And yes, it is called thorn apple because of the spiky thorned pod. Pretty much any kind of fruit-looking thing can be called an apple. Oh no. In America, it's called Jimson weed. Interesting fact. Jimson weed, the etymology comes from Jamestown, Virginia. The weed used to grow around the area of Jamestown. And so it was called Jamestown weed, which eventually got shortened and shortened and shortened until it became Jimson weed. So, yeah. Yeah, this is what it looks like. And if you look at this right here, what the flower looks like when it's all closed, this motif, this spiraling, spidery looking motif, is actually seen in a lot of cave paintings from the Paleolithic era. It's very cool. Datura cave painting. I'll show you guys. Yeah, see? A lot of our ancestors were tripping balls. But yeah, Californians gathered in a cave 500 years ago to get high. And they found remnants of the seeds and stuff. It's very cool. It's very cool, actually. And look, here's some more paintings of what are obviously Datura pods this time. So yes, this has been in use for a very, very long time. Very, very, very long time. Oh, that's unpleasant. Anyway. But yes. So, TLDR. Don't fucking do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs, kids. Don't take Datura. If you see this big, giant, bushy plant with a ginormous trumpet-shaped flower coming out of it and spiky seed pods, don't fucking touch it. Just leave it alone. Or if you have a set of very sturdy gloves and some gumption, rip it out of the ground, bag it up, and get rid of it. Don't even try and compost it because the seeds will stay viable for decades in disturbed soil. I'm serious. Don't fucking do drugs, kids. Anyway, I think that that's a good end to the stream. I am still incredibly tired. I had to take a nap earlier, and I'm still very tired. So I am going to be heading out. I love you guys with an old here. I want to thank you guys so, so much for showing up today and talking with me about drugs. And tomorrow, hopefully, I will be able to do some 40K mini painting and chill with you guys. I might reschedule it for something else. I don't really know. But tomorrow we will definitely be seeing each other again. I love you guys with enrolled here. I want to thank you so, so much for showing up. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye, 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 bye.